Hi YouTube. Well, we're continuing the build-up of this Century Arms Wasr 1063. I went ahead and told you a few videos back that I had ordered a ironwood stock for it. It was actually going to be an ironwood blend. I got that stock in, and I've got all the wood refinished. And well, all I can say is so much for my my ugly duckling truck gun. This thing has actually turned out into quite a beautiful rifle. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. See if it'll show up. There you go. You can see how the finish turned out on the stock. This right here is actually an ironwood from Ironwood Designs. It's one of their blem stocks. This particular one didn't have a swivel cut in there, so I had to cut the swivel. I also had to add the reinforcing pins. But I must say, when I got finished with it, it looks very much like a general AK47 stock that you might buy anywhere. But this is I think it was a Bulgarian wood pistol grip and a Russian front handguard. Alright, what we're going to do in this video here today is I'm going to start a combination of the bolt polishing. Now this is actually going to probably end up taking up a couple of videos, and I'm going to go through and take the bolt carrier apart so that you can see what's involved in taking that bolt carrier apart, and we're going to go ahead and polish this bolt carrier up. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the camera here. Bear with me. See if we can get this down in front of me. And I'm going to try to do this to where you can really see what it takes to do this. Alright, what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take this take the rifle apart. I'm going to go ahead and take this dust cover off. Go ahead and take the recoil spring out. And then go ahead and pull the bolt carrier out. Whoops, forgot to take that out. Now, you can't really see this. I did have this rifle apart earlier today because when I stuck the wood in, or stuck the wood on, I went ahead and took the receiver, completely stripped it down, took it out in the yard and scrubbed it down clean with simple green. Then rinsed it all off, dried it, oiled everything, went ahead and took all the components out and everything and oiled it. And the reason I've done this is just basically get rid of all the cosmoline that was on this rifle from years of storage. But I told you in one of the videos that I was going to go ahead and polish the hammer face. I did actually do that. The hammer face on this one here has been polished, and then I re-blued it so that you can't see it. But smoothed it up quite a bit, and actually smoothed up the bolt action quite a bit too. Alright, now taking your bolt assembly here, I'm going to try to get this, understand why this thing is oops, yeah, there we go, it looks like it's straight now. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take this bolt carrier assembly, go ahead and pull it apart, and these things come apart real simple. Go ahead and get me a rag, because we're going to clean this off. Now, one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to need a punch. Now, cool thing is, if you get inside your buttstock here, you got a cleaning kit right here, and in that cleaning kit, you've got a little drift punch that you can use to help take this thing apart. We'll remove the contents. There's your jag, a couple other little odds and ends. And I'm going to do a separate video actually on what all the different components of these cleaning kits do. You're going to take your jag here, and you're also going to need a hammer. Since you're not going to be tapping it very hard, we can actually use our bolt carrier for this. Now, if you take a look at your bolt carrier here, or your bolt assembly, you're going to notice that you got a pin right there. Let's see if I can get that zeroed in to where you can see this. Okay, you can see that little pin right there. Well, it also comes through the other side. And what you want to do is take your punch, and you want to go to the bottom side of the carrier. You'll be looking at this picture here. Take it on the bottom side, and then you're going to take your bolt carrier See if I can get this in. You're going to take your bolt carrier and you're going to go ahead and start bumping that pin out. Now you can see that the pin here, let's see if I can get that in frame. The pin is starting to move. It doesn't take much to take that loose. Go ahead and back this thing up so that I can get it in a frame. You can see how it is right there. Go ahead and tap that out. You can see that pin's coming out right there. Okay, it's coming free. There we go. Alright, that pin there comes out. You go ahead and set it aside. Now you got to take your drift punch, and there's another section you're going to need to remove. Now once you pull that first pin out, your firing pin's going to come out. You lay that aside. Alright, the next thing that you're going to do is, if you look on the bottom right here, you're going to see right here, you're going to see another, get that in the frame. You're going to see another place right there. It follows through right here. You're going to be able to see part of that. So what you want to do is you want to drive that. You want to drive that part of it out right there. So you're going to come in from the bottom right here. And it's kind of a messed up way that they look at, but what we're going to do is we're going to remove the extractor here. So we're going to go ahead in the same process. We're going to hold it. Now you can actually chuck this up in a vise. I just don't happen to do it. And then we're going to take our bolt carrier and tap that back out. Again, this doesn't take very much force, so you're not going to. There you go. You just removed your keeper right there. You got your keeper right there that holds your extractor in. Now when you're going to pull your punch back out, your extractor is spring loaded, so you're going to have to be careful not to lose a little spring back behind here. Now there's your extractor, there's your spring. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually bead blast this bolt. I'm going to bead blast the extractor, and I'm going to bead blast the bolt carrier itself. Now the only portion of the bolt carrier that's going to actually be polished is going to be the very top. This area right in here and up and around the handle and everything is going to be polished nice and shiny. But the bolt carrier itself and all the assemblies, we're going to go ahead and bead blast that so that it all kind of matches. I got my pieces blasted. Oh, lift this thing over here. Should have scooted them all over. Alright. Check that out. Alright, I went ahead and took my extractor. I've got my extractor right here. That's blasted. I went ahead and used this little basket so I didn't lose it. Your bolt carrier. I went ahead and bead blasted my bolt carrier here. Cleaned up real nice. One of the benefits of bead blasting these things like this is, well, it'll actually paint the surface slightly, so it'll actually hold a lubricant. That's one of the things it'll do. It'll also paint the surfaces and make it ride just a little bit smoother, as you'll see it in a future video. Well, all right, we went ahead and blasted this thing. We blasted our bolt assembly. The bolt assembly is essentially done. We can go ahead and put that thing back together. We're going to hold off on that because we're concentrating on the polishing of this. So we're going to leave that there. Now you notice I've got a piece of tape on there. The only reason I've done that was to protect the stainless of the gas tube itself, or the gas piston. I didn't want that stainless to get any of the blasting on it. I wanted to keep it nice and shiny. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around so that you can get an idea of what we're going to do. I'm going to chuck this thing up in my vise here. See if you can see that vise. Not quite. All right. Well, I've got some padded jaws over here. Alright, well, I've got a rag here. Doesn't really matter. I just wanted to have something I could protect the piston with. I just didn't want to chuck down on the. You just don't want to damage the piston. Now, what you're going to need for this project is 3M, and actually, if you've got a Harbor Freight in your area, you'll be able to find these also. But 3M have got these little things called roll-on discs. And here's what they look like. They actually look like a little Scotch-Brite that you stick on your high-speed drill. Alright, got my air hose over here so I can work and find my. There she be. I've already got one on there. And what you're going to do, first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you got a set pair of safety glasses. These things are dirty as they can be because I'm a dirty pig. Let's see if I can tilt that camera around just a little bit so you can get a better look at that. All right. Now what you're going to do is you're going to start. What you're wanting to do right now is you're actually going to deburr the areas that you're going to that you don't want to get cut. You start out, and all you're doing is just deburring the areas that are kind of sharp, and that's primarily the actual handle itself, the charging handle. Now, another thing that you can do is come right up next to the gas piston and start polishing. Now, if you're careful with this, to be able to get a pretty nice shine, we're not going to, when I go polishing this thing, I'm not going to go mirror shine. That's not what we're going for. All we're doing is giving it a kind of a luster. You don't want to remove too much material. We'll work on this thing for a few minutes. And then now on these flats here, you want to be very careful that you don't round. This is one of the things you want to pay attention to. These areas right here, they got nice flats and everything. You want to make sure that you don't round those edges because that'll look like a shoddy. All you want to do is give it a nice brushed appearance. Get a little closer. See if I can get a little. Now you can actually get, if you choose to, you can actually just polish the one side here because this side here is the only part that you're going to see in the gun itself. Here's what I've got done so far. This is taking a little bit of time. Now one thing that I'm going to do is you can almost see that this looks very much like this stainless gas tube or gas piston. One other step that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this thing on a polishing wheel and I'm going to polish that up a little bit more just to make it look really nice. And show you how we're going to go ahead and do that. I've got me a electric polisher here. Now you don't have to go to this extreme like I do, but this is just what I happen to wanted to do here. I have to revamp move the camera around so that I don't get any polishing stuff on the camera here. Now you can pick these polishing wheels up. We happen to have a Harbor Freight close by, so these little polishing wheels are pretty cheap. You can pick up this polishing compound. This stuff here actually does wide variety of different types of metals and stuff. It's called Dico Premium Buffing Compositions. We're going to give it a little shake, turn it on. A little polishing compound on there. You can see how this stuff would end up making a mess. Oh, that's looking nice. That's starting to take time at all. Now you can do this by hand, but this is a lot faster way to do it. Okay, we're finished with the polishing of this this bolt carrier assembly on this Wasr 10. It turned out real good. I went ahead and finished it up for you. As you can see here, turned out fantastic. And this is it. Like I said, we didn't want an absolute mirror finish, but as you can see from that, you should be able to see it glisten. It turned out really well, and it has a nice. It really matches that piston really well. All right, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and reassemble the bolt assembly itself, and I'm going to go ahead and hook it onto this to where you can see it here. First thing you want to do is you're going to be working on your extractor. Your extractor just going to slide down inside there. You got your spring. Put your spring down inside there and put your extractor in. Now that spring, you got to be very careful, because if you lose that joker, you're going to be really ticked off. Go ahead and put your extractor in. Then you got this little deal right here. This is the pin that holds the extractor in, and it's going to locate in just like that, so that when you there you go. You're going to configure it in to where it looks like that right there. See if I can get that to show up. See how that pin, how that thing is angled in? That's the way you want it. And then you go ahead and tap it down in there. Make sure that it's straight. Go ahead and your punch also helps to line everything up, because you want this thing to be able to put a drift punch in there so it didn't line up like we wanted it to. So I'm going to take this punch and I'm going to slide it up in there just like so, and this will help me kind of guide it on there. Go ahead and lock it down in a vise so we can get, whoop, can't see that, can you? Alright, now if we've done that right, this pin here should go right through, just like so. Alright, now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to put your firing pin in. Now your firing pin does have has a way that it goes in. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lube, put just a drop of Militech 1 weapons grade lubricant on here. And I'm going to go into a little more detail of why I use this stuff. This stuff is absolutely a fantastic product. A friend of mine put me on it about a year ago, and I use it religiously. Go ahead and put that in, and you want to make sure that your pin will slide in like that. And since it doesn't, you know that you got it in wrong. There you go. Now you see, you put your punch in right there, your firing pin will stay in, so you know that that is that's correct. Go ahead and take your other pin right here. Go ahead and tap it in. Might be a little cantankerous. And this one was actually, this one pin was bent a little bit, so it might have a different way that it goes in. Alright, I see a polished section, so I know I'm in the right direction. Go ahead and tap that in. Oh, and then we'll go. Need to turn it a little bit. That might go like that. Yep, there it went. Go ahead and seat it. This little punch that they give you is as an absolute must. When you get your cleaning kit, don't throw that punch away, because they're an absolute must when you need them. Alright, anyway, you can see that pin bounces up and down. You should be able to hear it. Go ahead and give us a couple more drops of Militech down in there, just to kind of let it soak in there. Now, one of the things that we're going to do is I'm actually going to wipe the outside of this bolt carrier down with Militech, and I'm not going to do that right now, but what I like to do is take this Militech 1, this stuff right here. You can get it off eBay. It's about $5 a bottle. But this stuff is a synthetic weapons grade lubricant. It actually soaks into the metal, and it does a couple of things. It provides a dry lube. This is absolutely great for AR-15s. But what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to wipe this whole entire bolt carrier down. And I'm going to lube everything just like I would normally lube it, and it's going to be wet lubed. And then I'm going to put it in my oven for about 150 degrees for about an hour. That'll allow that stuff to soak into that metal and all the different places that it can possibly soak into. But anyway, we can go ahead and, for right now, just for argument's sake, we'll go ahead and put this thing together, and I'll treat this at a later time. But I am going to put just a dot of Militech right here on this area here that I polished up, and see if that makes a difference on my bolt carrier and how smooth it is. Oh, I can already tell a difference in that. Now, if I've done my job right, if you remember from my from one of my other videos on the bolt sticking video, I could actually let go of it and it would hang up. But you can see it's a lot smoother now. It's a lot harder to get to hang up. Now, and that's without the thing being permanently lubed with this Militech. It'll absolutely be slick as a greased owl butt when it's all done. You can see just how smooth that is. Anyway, that's the end of this part, and we'll go ahead and put the cover back on it and let you get to see the whole thing. So what you think? This is a Wasr 1063, refinished wood, polished bolt carrier, all the bells and whistles. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and thank you for staying tuned with this whole video series. Thank you.